The text came through at 9:47 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I was in my home office in Greenwich, Connecticut, finishing a presentation for Monday's board meeting, one hand on my laptop and the other on my 7 months pregnant belly when my phone lit up. Sarah, my sister, we need to talk about the baby shower. I smiled. Sarah had insisted on throwing me a shower even though I'd told her I didn't need one. Everything okay? Sarah, not exactly. I've been thinking about the guest list. Sarah, I invited a lot of people from my work. Partners at the firm, some associates. They're all very successful. Sarah, and I might have told them you're a secretary. I stared at the screen. Me, why would you tell them that? Sarah, because it's easier than explaining the truth. Me, which is? Sarah, that you're unemployed and pregnant. That doesn't exactly look good, Emma. Me, I'm not unemployed. Sarah, you told Mom you were taking a break from work to focus on the pregnancy. Me, because I am. I'm on maternity leave. Sarah, same thing. Listen, I've worked really hard to build my reputation at this firm. I'm up for partner next year. These people need to think highly of me and my family. Sarah, if they find out my sister is unemployed and having a baby alone, it's going to reflect poorly on me. Me, I'm not alone. I'm having a baby via sperm donor. It's 2024. Sarah, which makes it worse. Emma, these are traditional people. Conservative lawyers. They already think women my age should be married with kids. Having an unemployed, single, pregnant sister doesn't help my case. Me, so you told them I'm a secretary. Sarah, it's a respectable job. And it explains why you're not at the shower, you have to work. Everyone wins. Me, Sarah, I'm not a secretary. Sarah, I know, but they don't know that. And it's better if we keep it that way. Me, so you're uninviting me from my own baby shower? Sarah, I'm not uninviting you. I'm just saying it would be better if you didn't come. I've already made excuses. Told everyone you have to work. It's cleaner this way. I looked at my phone for a long moment. Then at my laptop screen, where my presentation to the Board of Directors of Northeast Financial Corporation was open. The presentation where I, as Executive Vice President of Corporate Strategy, would be recommending a $500 million acquisition. Me, okay. Sarah, really? You're okay with this? Me, I'm okay with this. Sarah, thank you for understanding. I promise we'll do something small just as after the baby comes. Me, sure. Sarah, you're the best, Em. I knew you'd get it. I hung up and returned to my presentation. My assistant Joyce appeared on video chat. Everything okay, Miss Patterson? My sister just uninvited me from my own baby shower because she told everyone I'm unemployed. Joyce's eyes widened. But you're Executive Vice President of Corporate Strategy at Northeast Financial. Yes. Does she not know that? She thinks I'm taking a break from work because I'm pregnant. Emma, you're working 50 hours a week from home while growing a human. That's not a break. Apparently it looks like unemployment to her. Are you going to tell her? I thought about it. No. Let her have her shower. Let her impress her lawyer friends with her fictional secretary sister. Emma. What's the address of the shower venue? Joyce consulted her notes. The Riverside Club in Stamford. Why? Just curious. That's your company's private club. I know. Joyce started grinning. Emma, what are you planning? Nothing. Just want to make sure I know where the shower I'm not invited to is happening. That's deliciously evil. That's strategic positioning. Growing up, Sarah was always the golden child. 3 years older, she'd followed every traditional milestone perfectly. Good grades, good college, good law school, good job at a prestigious firm. I was the weird one who went into finance. Finance? Mom had said when I told her my major. That's very male-dominated, isn't it? That's why it needs more women. But Sarah's doing law. That's much more prestigious. Finance pays better. Emma, Dad had sighed. It's not always about money. But it was about money. At least it was about what money represented. Independence, power, the ability to make choices on my own terms. I'd graduated from Wharton at 22 and gone straight to Goldman Sachs. The hours were brutal, the culture was toxic, but I learned everything. How deals worked. How power worked. How to be the only woman in a room of men and still command respect. At 25, I left Goldman for a VP position at Northeast Financial Corporation, a mid-sized investment firm in Connecticut. At 27, I made senior VP. At 29, executive VP of corporate strategy. I was the youngest executive VP in the company's history. I led the team that had grown NFC from $2 billion to $8 billion in assets under management in 4 years. I made $850,000 a year, plus bonuses that routinely exceeded 7 figures. But my family didn't know any of that. Not because I hid it, because they never asked. "How's work?" they'd say at family dinners. "Good." "Busy." "Still doing the finance thing?" "Still doing the finance thing." Sarah made junior partner. Youngest in her firm's history. "That's great." Sarah would smile modestly. "It's a big deal. I'm the only woman under 35 to make it." "So impressive," Mom would gush. "Emma, you should aim for something like that. Maybe a promotion." Maybe. I'd stopped trying to share my achievements after Sarah's 27th birthday dinner. I'd mentioned I'd just closed a $300 million deal. "That's nice," Mom had said. "Sarah, tell everyone about your case." Sarah had launched into a story about a contract dispute she'd worked on. Everyone hung on her every word. I'd gone quiet and stayed that way. 6 months ago, I'd decided to have a baby on my own. I was 32, financially secure, and tired of waiting for a partner who might never materialize. I'd gone through IVF, gotten pregnant on the first try, and called my family with the news. "You're pregnant." Mom had gasped. "But you're not married." "I used a sperm donor." "Oh, Emma. What will people think?" "I don't care what people think. But your career. How will you work?" "I'll figure it out." Sarah had been the worst. "Emma, this is so selfish. You're not even in a relationship. How are you going to raise a child alone?" "Women do it all the time." "Struggling women. Women with no choice. You have choices. Why would you do this?" "Because I want to be a mother." "Then find a husband first." I'd stopped talking to her for a month after that. But eventually she'd apologized, sort of, and offered to throw me a baby shower. "Let me do this," she'd said. "I want to celebrate you." I'd agreed because I thought she meant it. Now I knew better. The thing about being a woman in finance, you learn quickly to let people underestimate you. Men would assume I was a secretary or an assistant when I walked into meetings. I'd smile and let them think it. Then I'd open my mouth and demolish their assumptions with market analysis and strategic insights they'd never considered. I'd learned to weaponize underestimation. But I'd never expected to need that skill with my own family. When I'd gone on maternity leave 3 months ago, I'd told them I was taking a break. "A break," Sarah had said. "From what?" "From work. To focus on the pregnancy." "So you quit?" "Not exactly. More like extended leave." "Emma, you can't just take extended leave. That's not how jobs work." "My company is very supportive." She'd snorted. "Must be nice. At my firm, taking more than 6 weeks is basically career suicide." "Different industries." Mom had chimed in. "Are you going to be okay financially? Do you need help?" "I'm fine, Mom. Because Sarah's doing so well. If you need to borrow money." "I don't need to borrow money." "Okay, but if you do." They'd decided I was struggling. And I'd let them think it because correcting them felt exhausting. The truth, I was on fully paid maternity leave for 6 months. I was still running my team remotely, still attending board meetings via video, still making strategic decisions for the company. My boss, Richard Chin, CEO of Northeast Financial, had been incredibly supportive. "Emma, you built this strategy division from nothing," he'd said. "Take whatever time you need. Your team can handle day-to-day, but we need you on major decisions. I can work from home. You should rest." "I'll rest after the baby comes. Right now, I have a $500 million acquisition to close." He'd laughed. "You're unstoppable." "I'm motivated." The acquisition was my baby, before the actual baby. A smaller investment firm with excellent portfolio management but poor infrastructure. We could absorb them, strengthen both companies, and position NFC as a top 15 player in the Northeast. The board vote was Monday. I'd been preparing for months. And meanwhile, my sister was throwing me a baby shower where she'd uninvited me because I was supposedly unemployed. Friday afternoon, the day before the shower, Richard called. Emma, we have a problem. What kind of problem? The acquisition. The target company's CEO is getting cold feet. He wants more assurances about his team's positions post-merger. We already offered retention packages. He wants something in writing. Signed by board members. Before Monday's vote. That's not how this works. I know. But he's threatening to walk. We need to close this deal, Emma. It's too good to lose. I thought quickly. Can we meet with him in person? This weekend. He's in New York. And you're pregnant. I know. I can still travel to New York, Richard. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say you're supposed to be on leave. I'm always on call for critical deals. You know that. Your sister's baby shower is tomorrow. I'm not going to that anyway. Why not? Long story. When can we meet him? Tomorrow afternoon. 2 p.m. Where? His office in Manhattan. I'll be there. After I hung up, Joyce video called. I heard about the New York meeting. Want me to reschedule the shower? What shower? The one being thrown in your honor at our company's private club by your sister who thinks you're unemployed? Oh, that shower. No, don't reschedule. Let it happen. Emma, your boss is going to be at that club tomorrow. He golfs there on Saturdays. Does he? And you know Richard. If he sees a baby shower happening and finds out it's for you, he'll definitely stop by to say congratulations. And your sister will die of embarrassment when Northeast Financial so walks in calling you his executive VP. What a coincidence that would be. Joyce laughed. You're terrible. I'm strategic. Saturday morning, I woke up early and prepared for two events, a high-stakes acquisition meeting and my sister's potential humiliation. For the meeting, I chose a maternity dress that was professional but comfortable. Paired it with a blazer that screamed executive authority. Did my makeup carefully, pregnant glow plus professional polish. I looked like exactly what I was, a successful executive who happened to be 7 months pregnant. For the shower aftermath, I prepared talking points. Not for me, for Richard, who I knew would absolutely make an appearance at the club. At 10 a.m. I texted Joyce. Me, what time does Richard usually tee off? Joyce, 11 a.m. Finishes around 2:30. Usually stops by the clubhouse for lunch after. Me, and the shower? Joyce, 2 to 5 p.m. In the main event room. Me, perfect timing. Joyce, you're diabolical. Me, I prefer strategically minded. At noon my driver took me to Manhattan. The meeting with the acquisition target went perfectly. I walked them through every concern, provided ironclad assurances, and by 1:30 p.m. had signatures on the amendment documents. You're impressive, Ms. Patterson, the CEO said. I've never seen someone 7 months pregnant negotiate this effectively. Pregnancy doesn't affect my brain. Just my bladder. He laughed. Richard's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to work somewhere that values me for my work, not my reproductive status. That's rare in this industry. I know. That's why I'm loyal. At 2 p.m. I was back in the car heading to Connecticut. I texted Richard. Me, deal closed. Signatures secured. Monday's vote is a formality now. Richard, Emma, you're a miracle worker. How'd the meeting go? Me, they needed someone to speak their language. I did. Richard, drinks on Monday to celebrate. Non-alcoholic for you. Me, I'll take a sparkling cider. Richard, hey, I'm at the club now. Just finished golf. Your sister's baby shower is happening in the main room. Me, is it? Richard, should I stop by and congratulate the guest of honor? Me, if you'd like. Richard, I absolutely would like. See you Monday, Emma. I smiled and settled back for the drive to Greenwich. At 2:47 p.m., I received a text from Joyce. Joyce, Richard just walked into the shower. I can see it from my office. This is better than reality TV. Me, what's happening? Joyce, he walked in looking for you. Your sister intercepted him. She looks confused. Me, keep me updated. 2 minutes later my phone exploded. Sarah, Emma, what is happening? Sarah, Richard Chin just walked into the shower. Sarah, he's asking for you. Sarah, he said you're his executive VP. Sarah, Everyone is staring at me. Sarah, call me right now. I didn't call. Instead I called Joyce. Tell me everything. Joyce was laughing so hard she could barely speak. Okay, so Richard walks in with his golf buddies. 2 of them are on your board, by the way. He sees all the baby decorations and gets excited. Ask someone whose shower it is. They tell him Emma Patterson. He lights up. Of course he does. He walks up to your sister and says very loudly, Sarah, this is wonderful. Where's Emma? I wanted to congratulate my executive VP personally. Oh no. Oh yes. Sarah goes pale. Says, executive VP? Richard says, of course. Emma's been with NFC for 7 years. Best strategic mind in the company. Where is she? What did Sarah say? She stammered something about you having to work. Richard laughs and says, work? She's on maternity leave. Though knowing Emma, she probably closed that acquisition deal this morning and is on her way here now. I did close the deal. I know. It's perfect. Then Richard turns to the room, and keep in mind this room is full of lawyers from Sarah's firm, and says, I hope you all appreciate what an extraordinary woman Emma is. Youngest executive VP in our history. She's transformed our corporate strategy division. We're lucky to have her. Poor Sarah. Poor Sarah nothing. She's been telling everyone you're an unemployed secretary. One of the women says, very confused, I thought Emma was a secretary? And Richard looks baffled. Says, a secretary? Emma Patterson? She makes close to $1 million a year and manages a team of 30. Who told you she was a secretary? Everyone turned to look at Sarah. Everyone turned to look at Sarah. She's bright red. Stammering. Trying to explain. Richard figures it out. He gets this look on his face. You know the look he gets when someone tries to lowball us on a deal? Ice-cold clarity. Exactly that look. He says, very quietly, Sarah, did you tell people your sister was a secretary? Sarah tries to deflect, says something about it being a misunderstanding. Richard says, and where is Emma right now? What did she say? She said you couldn't come because you had to work. Richard says, work? This is her baby shower. Why wouldn't she be here? And Sarah has no answer. Just stands there looking mortified. Is he still there? He's talking to some of the guests now. Telling them about your accomplishments. The $500 million acquisition you just closed. Your track record. He's basically giving you a glowing performance review in front of your sister's entire social circle. Richard's the best. The best part. 3 of the guests are senior partners at Sarah's firm. They're asking Richard if NFC needs legal counsel. Networking with him. Completely ignoring Sarah. My phone buzzed with another text from Sarah. Sarah, Emma, please call me. Sarah, this is a disaster. Sarah, everyone is asking questions. Sarah, why didn't you tell me you were an executive VP? Sarah, Richard Chin is telling everyone you make $1 million a year. Sarah, I look like an idiot. Sarah, please call me. I didn't call. Dad, I texted back. Me, sorry I'm working. You know how it is for us secretaries. Sarah, this isn't funny. Me, you're right. It's not funny. It's humiliating. Which is exactly what you were trying to protect yourself from, except you were willing to let me be humiliated instead. Sarah, I didn't know. Me, you didn't know because you never asked. You assumed. Just like you've been assuming about my life for years. Sarah, what am I supposed to tell these people? Me, the truth? That you uninvited your sister from her own baby shower because you told everyone she was unemployed when actually she's an executive VP making 7 figures? That should go over well. Sarah, Emma, please. You're ruining this for me. Me, I'm not ruining anything. I'm not even there. You ruined it yourself by lying. My phone rang. Sarah, I declined it. It rang again. I declined that too. Joyce called back. Update, Richard just left. But not before giving Sarah his card and suggesting NFC might need new legal counsel since he's concerned about working with firms that don't value successful women. He did not. He absolutely did. Sarah's boss, one of the senior partners, heard it. He looks furious. Not at Richard. At Sarah. Oh no. Oh yes. I think your sister just torpedoed her partnership track. The texts kept coming. Mom, Emma, what is going on? Sarah is hysterical. Richardson said you're an executive VP. Me, I am an executive VP. Mom, since when? Me, since 3 years ago. Mom, why didn't you tell us? Me, I tried. Multiple times. You weren't interested. Dad, Emma, your sister is very upset. Can you please call her? Me, she uninvited me from my own baby shower, Dad. Because she was embarrassed of me. I think she can handle being upset for a day. Dad, she didn't know about your job. Me, that's my point. By 5 p.m. I was back home in Greenwich. Joyce had sent me photos from the shower. Sarah looking miserable. Guests looking confused. Gifts piled up that I'd never received. At 6 p.m. my doorbell rang. Sarah stood there, tears streaming down her face. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked into my home, the 4,000 square foot colonial I'd bought 2 years ago, and looked around like she was seeing it for the first time. Because she was. She'd never visited. Emma, this place is beautiful. Thank you. How can you afford this? I'm an executive VP at a major financial firm. I make $850,000 a year plus bonuses. Why didn't you tell me? I did tell you. Last Christmas I mentioned I got promoted. You changed the subject to talk about your junior partnership. That's not the same as saying you're an executive VP. Sarah, I've been trying to share my career with you for years. You've never been interested unless it involved comparing yourself to me and coming out ahead. She sank onto my couch. I ruined everything today. Yes, you did. Everyone at the shower was asking questions. About you. About your job. About why I didn't know. My boss pulled me aside after and asked if there were issues in my family that might affect my judgment. Ouch. I think I just lost my partnership track. Probably. Emma, how can you be so calm about this? Because this isn't about me. This is about you, Sarah. You made assumptions about my life. You decided I was less successful than you. And when those assumptions became inconvenient, you uninvited me from my own baby shower rather than face the truth. I was trying to protect my reputation. By sacrificing mine, you told an entire room of people I was an unemployed secretary. You uninvited me from celebrating my baby because you were ashamed of me. I didn't know. You didn't know because you never bothered to find out. When's the last time you asked about my work? Actually asked with genuine interest. She had no answer. You know what the worst part is? I continued. I would have helped you. If you told me you were up for partner and needed to make a good impression, I would have dressed up, shown up and helped you shine. But you didn't trust me enough to even tell me the truth. I'm sorry. Are you sorry you hurt me or sorry you got caught? Both, she admitted. At least you're honest about that. She wiped her eyes. What do I do now? You apologize. To me properly. You tell Mom and Dad the truth about what happened. You go to work Monday and own your mistake. And you figure out why you needed to diminish me to feel good about yourself. That's harsh. That's honest. You've spent years making me feel small, Sarah. Every family dinner, every holiday, every conversation, it's been about your achievements and my implied failures. Even when I tried to share good news, you found a way to minimize it. I didn't realize I was doing that. That's the problem. You didn't realize because you weren't paying attention. You were too focused on yourself to see me. I see you now. Now that Richardson told you to see me. That's not the same thing. She stood to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, I really am proud of you, Emma. Executive VP at 32. That's incredible. Thank you. And the baby. Doing it on your own. That's brave. It's not brave. It's just what I wanted. Can we fix this? Us. I thought about it. Maybe. But it's going to take more than one apology. You've spent years making me feel less than. One conversation doesn't erase that. I understand. After she left, I sat on my couch, one hand on my belly where the baby was kicking, and thought about family. About the assumptions we make. About the ways we can love people and still not see them. My phone buzzed. Text from Richard. Richard, I hope I didn't overstep today. When I realized what your sister had done, I got protective. Me, you didn't overstep. Thank you for having my back. Richard, always. You're family to us at NFC. The good kind of family that actually sees you for who you are. Me, that means more than you know. Richard, Monday's board meeting is going to be a celebration. Your acquisition. Your brilliance. And sparkling cider. Me, I'll be there. Monday's board meeting was perfect. The acquisition was approved unanimously. Richard announced it to the company with praise that made me tear up, hormones obviously. Afterward, 3 of the board members approached me. Emma, we want you to know something, one said. We were at the Riverside Club on Saturday. We heard what happened with your sister. I'm sorry you had to witness that. Don't apologize. We wanted you to know what she did was wrong. And it reminded us why we value you. You don't need to diminish others to shine. You just shine. Thank you. When you come back from maternity leave, real maternity leave, not the working leave you're doing now, we want to discuss your future here. Senior Vice President. Maybe more. I smiled. I'd like that. 2 weeks later I had the baby. A beautiful girl I named Claire. Sarah came to the hospital. Brought flowers. Held Claire carefully. She's perfect, Sarah whispered. She is. Emma, I've been thinking about what you said. About not seeing you. You were right. I know. I talked to a therapist. About competition. About why I needed to be better than you instead of just being happy for you. That's good. It's going to take work. But I want to do better. Be better. Be the Aunt Claire deserves. I'd like that. Can I throw you another baby shower? A real one. Where you're actually invited. I laughed. Maybe. But I'm picking the guest list. Deal. 6 months later, Fortune published a feature on women in finance. I was included. The reporter asked about work-life balance. How do you manage being an executive VP and a new mother? The same way men do, with excellent childcare, a supportive employer, and the understanding that doing both doesn't make me less committed to either. Your sister hosted your baby shower. Are you close? We're working on it. She's learning to see me as I am, not as she assumed I was. That's progress. Any advice for women in male-dominated industries? Let people underestimate you. Then exceed every expectation. And surround yourself with people who see your value even when you're not performing it for them. The article ran with a photo of me in my office, Claire's photo on my desk. The headline, the executive VP who was uninvited from her own baby shower. Emma Patterson on success, family, and being underestimated. Sarah texted, read the Fortune article. You look incredible. I'm sorry I almost missed all of this. Me, almost is the key word. You're here now. Sarah, can I take Claire for the afternoon? I want aunt-niece bonding time. Me, she'd like that. Because forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about deciding someone's effort to change is worth witnessing. Sarah was trying. Really trying. And that was enough. For now. Claire's first birthday party was everything the baby shower wasn't. Intimate, honest, filled with people who actually knew me. Richard and his wife came. My team from work came. Joyce came with her family. And Sarah came. With our parents. Thank you for inviting us, Mom said, holding Claire. Of course. Emma, I need to say something. Dad cleared his throat. We failed you. 4 years, we failed to see what you'd accomplished because we were too focused on what we thought success should look like. We're sorry, Mom added. We should have asked. Should have listened. Should have celebrated you. You're here now, I said. That counts for something. Sarah approached with a gift. This is from me. I opened it. A framed photo from Fortune magazine. Me in my office. The headline about being uninvited from my own shower. Why would you give me this? I asked. Because I never want to forget what I did. What I almost missed. You're my sister. You're extraordinary. And I'm proud of you. He meant it. I could tell. Thank you. And Emma? Next year for Claire's birthday, I'm bringing people from my firm. I want them to meet the real you. The executive VP sister I'm proud to have. Not the secretary? She winced. Never again. We watched Claire destroy her birthday cake while Richard told embarrassing stories about me negotiating deals while visibly pregnant. She once made a grown man cry during an acquisition negotiation, he said. While eating crackers for morning sickness. He was trying to lowball us. I protested. You destroyed him. It was beautiful. Later, as guests were leaving, Sarah pulled me aside. I have news. Good news. I made partner. Finally. After rebuilding my reputation post-shower disaster. Sarah, that's incredible. My boss said something when he promoted me. He said the partners who were at your shower were impressed by how I owned my mistake. How I worked to rebuild. He said humility and growth are more valuable than perfection. He's right. I learned that from watching you. You never needed to be perfect. You just needed to be excellent. And yourself. I hugged my sister. My complicated, competitive, finally seeing me sister. I'm proud of you, I said. I'm proud of you too. Always have been. I just forgot to say it. Say it now. I'm proud of you, Emma. For everything you've built. Everything you are. And that's all I'd ever wanted. Not the title. Not the money. Not the recognition. Just to be seen by the people I loved. To be valued for who I was, not who they assumed me to be. It took being uninvited from my own baby shower for my family to finally see me. But better late than never. And watching Claire grow up with a family that now celebrated all kinds of success. Mine, Sarah's, anyone's, made every awkward moment worth it.